Hi there, everybody. Jeremy Parzen here. Thanks to Karen LaRosa for asking me to be part of her Sicily video project. I was so thrilled when I got her email, and I'm happy to give my contribution. I wanted to talk today. Wanted to do something different, and I thought I'd talk about the grape nerod'avola, which a lot of us know. We even drink California Nero at this point. It's kind of become part of the wine speak of our time. And just because I had a bottle of Donna Fugata, you can see it's written Scheherazade, the Persian queen from 1001 Nights is the name. This is the 2018. So in the theme of storytelling and connecting it to Sicily, something I've always thought about is nerod'avola. It literally means Nero, the black grape or the red grape, because Nero black is a kind of like Pinot Noir is another example that we call red grapes or red wines black wines in Romance languages. And maybe we should do another video about that. But nerod'avola, we know it's the red grape from the town of Avola in Sicily. There is a town named Avola in Sicily, but nobody knows why it's called the black grape, the red grape from Avola. I've done, if anybody follows me, you know that I'm into like the etymologies of grape names and the history of grape names and all that kind of stuff. And I've looked everywhere. I haven't, maybe if somebody who's watching this knows, I'd love it if you would share it with me. But I thought about, nobody knows why it's from the town of Avola, and it reminds me of one of the greatest Sicilian writers, Luigi Pirandello, who lived between the fin de sec and the early 20th century, won the Nobel Prize in 1926 for his work Six Characters in Search of an Author, which is the work that everybody studies in literature class or in drama class, and it's the famous example of the fourth wall being broken down, where the characters in the play don't have an author and they start speaking directly to the audience. It's really fun. It's a masterpiece. But when I think about nerod'avola, I think of another work by Pirandello, which is Il fu Mattia Pascal, which is a novel, the late Mattia Pascal, which is about, it's a long narrative about a Sicilian bourgeois who ultimately, after going out of town, reads in the paper on his way back that someone with his same name has been killed and has been found dead. And he realizes the whole town, including his wife and his family and all of his business associates, think he's dead. And so he goes off and leads a whole nother life. And it's another one of Pirandello's masterworks, although people don't remember it as much. It was a bestseller in its day, et cetera, et cetera. And I thought a lot about how nerod'avola is kind of like, no one knows that the grape came from the town of Avola. And it's an interesting thing about identity and Pirandello's look at identity and masks and how we never really know. When we look at grape names, we tend to want to project on the grape name some meaning that we can't really ascertain with any kind of real philological evidence. And it's kind of the mystery of the grape of ampelography. I think it's part of the allure of it, that it is mysterious. And nerod'avola is one of those grapes, just like so many great characters in Pirandello's novels who are, their identity is not clear, or they're using a mask to, that was his great interest. So let's taste this wine. I know that was a boring introduction, but it's one of the ways that I like to talk about wine. Nerod'avola. So nerod'avola, you guys all know it. It should be a juicy red grape. It comes, you can, in lighter versions with less maceration time and less tannin, and it comes in bigger version. Again, this is the 2018 from Donna Fugata, my good friends at Folio Fine Wine Partners, the importers, sent me this wine with a care package when they knew me and my family was hunkering down. So thanks again, Folio. You guys have been really sweet to us. And let's taste this wine. Karen asked me to just do a little bit about how you taste wine. The first thing you're going to do, well, of course, not smell it, but look at it. the color of the wine, right? This wine to me, and it's kind of hard to see on the camera, it's on the brighter side, you know, more garnet than darker, but still transparent, which is, I think, one of the, you know, one of the things we don't look at a lot is the opacity or clarity of wine. And this is actually leaning on the clearer side. I'm expecting this to be kind of a bright, fresh, and man, I'm thirsty. I'm going to take a little sip. Sorry about that. It's getting a little thirsty there. So bright color in this wine, leaning more towards garnet than ruby red. On the darker, almost some brown in it. On the nose, there's beautiful. That's the second part of the wine tasting, right? On the nose, there's beautiful fruit and kind of Eastern spice on this wine. You know, those are. I always look for, you know, freshness and this very fresh style of wine. Nice bright fruit, but I love the kind of cinnamon, even spicier, you know, really spice, almost like heat spice, but very nice balance on this wine. And in the mouth, you get that same kind of bright fruit with a really, that kind of lingers, and the spice goes a little way, and there's more concentration on the fruit. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but check out Luigi Pirandello. I'm a big fan of Il Fumatia Pascal, and this wine is delicious. I gotta say, I really like it. We're gonna drink it tonight for dinner. Thank you again, Folio, and thank you, Karen, for making me part of this.